We've got some video from YouTube. One of the things you say in your book, it made you want to write this book, was all the conspiracy theories, and you talked about the movie from Oliver Stone. This is a man named Vince Palamara. Do you know him?
I'm familiar with him. I don't know him.
He says that, I guess, we'll talk about this, that he sent you a 22-page letter.
I recall receiving a letter which I sent back to him. I didn't bother with it.
You didn't talk to him ever?
He called me and I said hello, but that was about it.
Yeah, Clint Hill is claiming that he returned my letter and he didn't bother with it. Okay? Lisa McCubbin, the co-author of Gerald Blaine's book, The Kennedy Detail, claimed on Facebook that he threw it in the garbage. Perhaps the biggest contradiction of all is Gerald Blaine was quoting from the letter to me when I spoke to the gentleman on June 10th, 2005. So we got three different stories. Clint Hill's claiming here that he returned it to me. He did not return it to me. I received his signed receipt that he received it. He did not return it. Lisa McCubbin is claiming that he threw it away without reading it. And the evidence that indicts them the most is Gerald Blaine quoted from the letter to me, again, on June 10th, 2005.
And over the years, have you both been called about this assassination on many occasions?
I've been called numerous times. What's
been your attitude? How have you approached people that have
For the most part, I've just said I have no comment. I just have nothing to say.
And why is that?
Well, most of it's from people who are writing conspiracy theory books that don't make any sense to me. So if they're not going to deal in fact, then I don't want anything to do with it.
And how about you? What have you been?
Same thing. I have never talked to an author of a book, and I just felt we have it on our commission books, worthy of trust and confidence. And I felt those were issues that you should never talk to anybody on the outside about. And it was, I had to weigh and evaluate when I wrote this book, because I felt I wasn't talking about the Secret Service. I wasn't talking about the Kennedy family, but I was talking about the agents that I worked with and the incidents that occurred. And those were my friends, so that's when I decided to write.
Gerald Blaine is claiming that he's never talked to an author of a book. Hello? What about the massive best-selling book, Death of a President by William Manchester? Yep, massive best-selling book. And there he is. Hey! He spoke to him in 1965. May 12th, 1965 to be exact. Even his buddy Clint Hill and many of his comrades spoke to William Manchester. Okay? Uh-oh. He's also mentioned in Manchester's book, One Brief Shining Moment. Oh no, oh no. He's also mentioned in Ultimate Sacrifice. Yep. Well, I guess these don't count as books, huh, Jerry?
Do you have to get permission to do this from the Secret Service?
No.
So this wasn't cleared by the Secret Service, this book?
No, but we had lunch today with the director of the Secret Service, who thanked us very much for our contribution.
Gerald Blaine is claiming that the book wasn't cleared by the Secret Service, and yet he had lunch with the director, him and Clint Hill. On Jerry Blaine's own blog, when he attended the Association of Former Agents of the United States Secret Service annual conference, of which he's a past president of the organization and the sole surviving founding member, he mentions that Clint Hill briefed the director during the summer about the accuracy and purpose of the book. And again, at this conference, Blaine and Hill and McCubbin once again briefed Director Mark Sullivan of the Secret Service about the book. That's about as close as you can get to clearing a book.
Here is this video. It's not very long, and this man's name is Vince Palamara. He is a citizen who has taken it on his own to become an expert. He's from Pennsylvania, and I don't know him. I've never talked to him. I've just seen it on the web. And he is, I believe he's a graduate of Duquesne University. So let's watch this and I'll get your reaction to it.
Hi, this is Vince Palamara, the self-described Secret Service expert that Jerry Blaine accuses me of without naming me, okay? Back with my obsession about the Kennedy detail. I gotta read this. This is rich. Page 287. This is what Blaine's claiming Riley said. Riley turned to Jerry Blaine, and Jerry, since you were in the lead car, did you ever hear this over your radio as well? Yes, sir, I did. I heard exactly what Floyd just told you. The thing about this is the whole thing about the Ivy League charlatans thing. Jerry Blaine told me the Ivy League charlatans thing came from the guys. I can't remember who said it. Boy, his memory got real good 5 years later, because now he's claiming he heard it over the radio, Floyd Boring, okay? Just unbelievable. It's just amazing to me, you know? There never would have been a book if I didn't send a 22-page letter, okay, to Clint Hill that pissed him off so much that his very good friend Jerry Blaine came out with this book as a counter, okay? There's some nice things. I recommend everybody to buy it. I'm not into censorship. This is my First Amendment rights, okay? It's got some nice pictures, some nice non-assassination things, and there's even some good assassination-related things in here. But it's very obvious. It's other people picked up on it. That's why there's some really bad reviews on Amazon right now. Mine's the best of the bunch at 3 stars, too. It's very obvious. It's a thinly veiled attempt to rewrite history and to blame President Kennedy without trying to blame him for his own assassination.
First of all, his is not the best of the reviews. There are 7 with 5 stars, just in case for the record, that I saw today when I looked on Amazon. What's your reaction? Could you hear?
Well, he wrote an assessment of the book about the first time about 5 weeks before it was released. The second time on Amazon.com, he and 4 of his friends or 4 of his aliases put a statement on assessing the book a 1, a 2, and a 3. My assessment of Mr. Palamara is that he called probably all of the agents, and what agent who answers a phone is going to answer a question, was President Kennedy easy to protect? Well, probably he was too easy to protect because he was assassinated. But the fact that the agents aren't going to tell him anything, and he alludes to the fact that when I wrote the book, most of these people were dead. Well, I worked with these people. I knew them like brothers, and I knew exactly what was going on. And I always respected Jim Rowley because he stood up to the issue and said, look, we can't say the president invited himself to be killed, so let's squash this. So that was the word throughout the Secret Service.
This is Rich. Gerald Blaine is saying, my assessment of Mr. Palamara is that he called probably all the agents, which is true. And what agent who answers the phone is going to answer a question, was President Kennedy easy to protect? You did, Mr. Blaine. February 7th, 2004 and June 10th, 2005 to be exact. And many of your colleagues echoed the same thing. That JFK was a very nice man, never interfered with the actions of the Secret Service, and did not order the agents off the limousine. Picking up where Blaine left off. Well, he probably was too easy to protect because he was assassinated. Jeez, that's really nice to know, Mr. Blaine. Again, a quote from Blaine here. But the fact that the agents aren't going to tell him anything, you told me a whole bunch of things in our 45-minute conversations, plural, times 2, on those dates I mentioned. And many of your colleagues told me much of value. And he alludes to the fact that when I wrote the book, most of these people were dead. Yes, it's very relevant. Again, back to Blaine. Well, I work with these people. I knew them like brothers, and I knew exactly what was going on, and always respected Jim Rowley because he stood up to the issue and said, look, we can't say the president invited himself to be killed, so let's squash this. 47 years later in Blaine's book, as I've covered in my Citizens for Truth and Kennedy Assassination online reviews and my blogs and whatnot, he's claiming in his book that there was a morning of JFK's funeral meeting of the Secret Service that Chief Riley said, look, we know the president ordered us off the back of the car, but we can't let the public know about this because then they'll think we're blaming the president for his own death. We got to cover this up. Ironically, by telling this sordid tale, that's exactly what the book achieves. It does blame Kennedy for his own death by revealing this meeting. I do not believe this meeting took place at all. I think it's a total fabrication. There is no evidence for it whatsoever. That's just my opinion, based on the fact that there's a lack of evidence. It's very slick, though, because there probably was a security meeting to discuss the upcoming walk to St. Matthew's Cathedral with Jacqueline Kennedy, Haile Selassie, Charles de Gaulle, and all the dignitaries. But the bottom line is everyone he's mentioning that attended this alleged meeting are long dead. There's no corroboration. And furthermore, the agents that spoke to me or wrote to me provided substantive details that go against this alleged meeting. The advance agents supposedly were told. No, they weren't. Winston Lawson told me in a letter, a complete stranger. Why would he lie? Said, I don't know of any standing orders for the agents to be off the back of the car. It never came to my attention as such. It never came to his attention as such. According to Jerry Blaine's book, there was a meeting.
Mr. Palamara, there are a number of things that have happened, but he has no credibility. He's a self-described expert in his area, which I don't know what it is. He was born after the assassination, and he keeps creating solutions to the assassination until they're proven wrong. So he's...
Yeah, like your attorney sending me a certified letter asking me to take down a blog where you guys were alleging I was saying that I was a co-author of the book. I wasn't saying that at all. I even noted it came from Lisa McCubbin's blog. I was just advertising the book. But that was a shot across the bow, wasn't it, Mr. Blaine? To try to put a scare in me. Didn't work. The truth shall prevail. I know what you said. I know what all your friends said. I have letters of them. I have some of them on audio tape. It is what it is, to use the common vernacular. And a quote from your book where you say that I stabbed your brothers in the back with baseless accusations. Hey, don't kill the messenger for giving you bad news. These gentlemen, including yourself, told me what they told me to a complete stranger on the phone, and or they wrote it, put it in writing. I mean, the consensus is overwhelming. It's a landslide that JFK did not order the agents off the back of the car, nor did he interfere with the actions of the Secret Service. You were a private in the Secret Service. Jerry Behn was the Douglas MacArthur of the Secret Service, #1 agent. His #2 assistant, Floyd Boring, also said the same thing. Kennedy never ordered the agents off the back of the car. So that's where I stand on the matter. He also says that he has no credibility. Well, we'll be the judge of that, won't we? He says he is a self-described expert in this area, which I don't know what it is. Well, self-described, people as diverse as Vince Bugliosi, the History Channel, the Assassination Records Review Board, and even ironically Brian Lamb have called me a Secret Service expert. I mean, it is what it is. He was born after the assassination. Okay, and so was your co-author Lisa McCubbin. And your point is?
He alleges that because he sent me a letter, 22 pages in length apparently, and that I discussed that with Jerry. I forgot that I ever got a 22-page letter from this particular individual until I heard him say it on TV. And I never discussed it with Jerry or anybody else because it wasn't important to me. And insofar as him being an expert, I don't know where the expert part came from. I spent a long time in the Secret Service in protection, and I'm not an expert, but apparently he became an expert somewhere up in Pennsylvania. I don't know where.
Okay, Mr. Hill, here we go again. You say, he, meaning myself, alleges because he sent me a letter 22 pages in length, apparently. Mr. Hill. Here's your signed receipt, okay? Here it is, June 2005. Yep, you received the letter all right. Another reason why I know you received the letter is when I phoned you a couple days later, you were irate as soon as you found out it was me calling you. And I asked you about the letter, and you said, about what? I said, well, sir, can you tell me what you thought of it or whatnot? And you said, you know what, I don't have any interest in talking to you. Okay. And what is the smoking gun, pardon the pun to this, is a couple days later, I talked to Jerry Blaine, and out of nowhere he mentions the deep friendship he had with you, the fact he just attended your son's wedding, and you guys knew each other since the late 50s when you served in the Denver field office. But the clincher was, out of nowhere, Mr. Blaine goes, hey, don't be too hard on Emory Roberts. He was a double, even a triple checker. He probably took Jack Reddy's life into consideration. That was directly from my letter. So again, when Lisa McCubbin said you threw the letter in the garbage without reading it, and you're saying here that you returned the letter to me and you never read it. Okay, the letter was not returned, and here's the signed receipt that you received it, and your angry response to my phone call says it all. And the clincher is when Jerry Blaine quoted from the letter, "The party's over." That's exactly when Jerry Blaine started to write this book. Okay, and I was mentioned before about a shot across the bow. Yep, here it is from Jerry Blaine's attorney a little over a year ago. Hey! I am the attorney for Gerald S. Blaine. On November 21st, 2009, you copied the blog announcement by Lisa McCubbin, who is working with Jerry on his book, The Kennedy Detail, and republished it, stating, "A collaboration between former JFK Secret Service agent Gerald S. Blaine and myself," thus making it appear that you, rather than Lisa McCubbin, are collaborating with Jerry on the book. Although the constitutional right of freedom of speech gives substantial freedom, it does not allow for misrepresentation, such as you have done. Therefore, I am asking you to immediately remove this erroneous information, and further, that you correct this erroneous information, stating that you are not and will not be connected to the book. I wrote back to them, I took down the blog, but I just amped everything up. This is ridiculous. And I won't be connected to the book. Hey, you guys are just talking about me on C-SPAN. I'm in a review from the Vancouver Sun about the book, but more importantly, I'm on pages 359 and 360 of your book. Yeah, I'm not connected to the book, huh? If you refuse to do this, I have been advised to consider action against you to obtain a court order directing you to cease and desist your wrongful activities. Oh, brother, for a blog. Jeez. In addition, Jerry and Lisa have rights as authors and copyright holders, which are valuable. Your activities will adversely affect these rights and cause them significant financial harm. Your book's a New York Times bestseller, Simon & Schuster, $20 a pop, not including shipping and handling and tax and so forth. You guys have made a killing on the book. I think the coast is clear now. I think we can worry about the significant financial harm of my information. If that occurs, they will take appropriate action against you to recover their losses. The truth hurts, doesn't it? Darn, if only all you guys didn't tell me that JFK was a very nice man, never interfered with their actions at all, and didn't order you guys off the back of the car. Yeah, Mr. Blaine, jeez. When I asked you about the Ivy League charlatan remark, where it came from, you told me on June 10th, it came from the guys. I can't remember who said it. I can't remember. Glad to hear your memory got real better, a lot better 5 years later, because now you're saying you heard it loud and clear on your walkie-talkie. Mr. Blaine, it's very obvious your book and the documentary are a reaction to my research. Other people have noticed it too. And specifically my letter to Clint Hill, the one he signed for. Because it looks pretty bad, doesn't it? It looks pretty bad. Yep. All these gentlemen, including yourself, are telling me that Kennedy never ordered them off the car. Why weren't they there? And this thing about the freeway, they were going too fast, that's bunk. Because there's many trips where the agents were on the back of the car at very fast speeds. No, won't wash.